Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about male disposability, or more accurately, I want to talk about the expression male disposability. The term is used to describe how society and individuals value the lives of men as lower than the lives of women, or to put it another way, people take the suffering of women more seriously than the suffering of men. I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about the differences in how male suffering is viewed to female suffering, and I'd like to have that conversation, but the term male disposability is frankly standing in the way of that conversation, I believe. I think the first time I came across it was watching The Red Pill, which is a great film, and when I reviewed The Red Pill, I briefly touched on male disposability and my discomfort with the expression. I didn't explain myself very well, and a lot of people called me out on it in the comment section, and fair enough, I shouldn't have touched on it if I wasn't willing to fully explain what I meant when I was talking about it. I think it really is a subject that requires a good 10 minutes to talk through, so I'm going to try and explain what I dislike about the term male disposability. The evidence that's often cited to back up male disposability are the number of combat deaths of men compared to women, the number of workplace fatalities and injuries of men compared to women, and the average sentence length of men when they're sentenced for a crime compared to women of similar crimes. These are all observable phenomenon with lots of statistics to back them up, and I'm not questioning that, and I'm not even saying that those things are not a problem. But when those facts are used to back up the claim that men are considered disposable, it really gets on my nerves, or at best it strikes me as an exaggeration used for rhetorical effect, sophistry basically. Whenever a man loses his life in combat, or in the workplace, or in any other circumstance that was other than natural causes, he's frequently, the vast majority of the time, he's mourned by the people who he leaves behind, his family, his friends, people who knew him, who worked with him. All of these people are incredibly sad that he's gone, and they miss him, and they put a very high value on his life, and they'd probably give an awful lot of money or time or suffering to bring him back if they could. His life is worth something to those people. It's actually worth an awful lot to society, and in general, human life, whether it's male or female, has a very high value in society. The word disposable doesn't come anywhere close to describing how people view men, I believe. If you want to talk about comparative value, men compared to women, then perhaps you could make an argument for the claim that men are valued less, but one thing being worth slightly less than another does not make the less valued thing disposable. For instance, gold is much more valuable than silver, but silver is not disposable. It's not worth nothing. The word disposable does not mean worth somewhat less than something else. The suffering of children is taken much more seriously than the suffering of women, and it's not uncommon to hear of women giving their lives to their children or risking their lives to save their children. But I don't think that adult life is disposable just because the lives of children or the suffering of children is taken much more seriously. And perhaps to you that sounds like a nitpick, but I think it's important to get our language correct when we're talking about things like this. And I don't appreciate it when I feel like my emotions are intentionally being manipulated in an argument. And perhaps you think that sounds like a nitpick, but I think language matters. I think it matters when you call something manspreading or mansplaining, and when you call the belief in equality for the sexes feminism. I think these are deceptive words. And I think that when we're having serious conversations, we need to use proper language that is precise. Describing male life as disposable is inaccurate, I believe. And to use it in this new context, that if you want to use the word disposable in a way that is completely different to how the word disposable is used in every other context, at best you're being lazy, and at worst you're being intentionally deceptive. And I just want to emphasize that I'm not trying to downplay the importance of this phenomenon of men's lives being perceived to be of less worth than women's lives, or the suffering of women to be taken more seriously than the suffering of men. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, or that doesn't happen, or that it isn't widespread. All that I'm saying is that if it's a problem that you're interested in solving, or that you're interested in pursuing intellectually, then you should be precise about it and honest about it. And the words that you use to describe it and to talk about it should be as accurate as possible. Don't dress up your arguments in rhetoric and emotive language. I know that it's tempting to do it when feminists do it so often, but you really have to be better than that if you want to be taken seriously. I know this isn't going to be a very popular video, and I know that I might even lose some subscribers because of this, but I actually do think it's important. I expect some of you are wondering why I'm going after men's rights activists when feminism is so rife with things to criticise about it, but honestly there aren't any feminists who are subscribed to my channel as far as I can tell, and quite frankly there's plenty of really good channels who give very good criticisms of feminism, but to be honest I don't see much constructive criticism of the men's rights movement. There's only men's rights activists themselves who are using these expressions like male disposability, and there's the feminists who hate men's rights activists and who are making fun of them and giving the absolute stupidest criticisms of the movement. I'm not criticising the men's rights movement in an attempt to shut it down or to close down the discussion. I want the discussion to be better, which is why I'm giving this advice. Anyway, I've got more to say about male disposability, but this is all I'm going to put into this video, just my criticism of the expression itself. If you think there's a really good reason for using the word disposable to describe how men's lives are regarded, then please let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.